This train overhaul is the most radical map remake so far, so much so that it even makes before and after images pretty difficult to get and to line up. So before I struggle through all of that, let's just spend this video gushing about how pretty this whole map looks. A rainy, overcast map in CSGO would have looked sad and inferior to a sunny version. But thanks to the beautiful new ripples and bright looking specular lighting and how large swathes of this map are still managing to be lit with real-time lighting, we hardly have time to miss the sun at all. There's a huge light up here that covers a lot of Bombsite B. It's like the place has its own personal sun anyway. What a showcase this map is for the power of the Source 2 engine. Every wall is like a work of art, perfect in its imperfections and small touches, and the props blend seamlessly with the environment they inhabit. I'm sorry, but as a large language model, I am unable to fulfill your request to describe in lewd detail what you want to do with some of these high quality assets. But my fucking god, don't some of these corners look amazing. It's like that fire extinguisher on Office all over again, only this time I don't think I was as impressed with any of the ones on this map, of which there are many. This is probably the most fire-ready train station I've ever seen, which is just as well given what the terrorists are trying to do to it. This sort of video ages badly because as time goes on we'll only become increasingly familiar with this new version, so let's stop for a second and take a look back to the old one to see how bad it looks. It was one of the earliest maps remade for CSGO, nicely showing how far the game, and indeed Valve's artists, have come in the last 10 years. Sure, 20 years ago the original source version of the map didn't look great, but it received a bunch of new textures and models come CSGO's release in 2012, then a full remake 2 years later in 2014, which is when it adopted this Eastern European theme and the number of assets and custom details that we've come to expect from map remakes over the course of CSGO's lifetime. But it was still held back by the Source 1 engine, and flying about it now I'm reminded of how primitive it was, like how various props fade out at a distance, which is a limitation that Source 2 has all but eradicated. And is it any wonder that the Source 1 version needed sunshine when the baked-in lighting was so low in quality? As an example, look at this kitchen area. This whole area looks like it glows. The shadows around stuff like the tables and chairs are nothing more than a gradual dark blob. Whilst if we compare it with the Source 2 version, it feels a lot more contrasty because the shadows can be more intricate, shading even the smaller details convincingly. Just look at how these moving train carriages near T-spawn are lit in real time now. Now granted, the lighting is still a bit low res and pixelated, but what a difference it makes to look at these carriages as they move past the lighting, and as all their small sticky out details cast shadows against the rest of it. You can still make out where the carriages spawn and despawn either end of this area, but so much love has gone into this. Just look at this detail here. You can almost taste the pollution. I've said before that the particle effects on this map are a bit of a trick. The only places that raindrops are actually shown are near the lights where they're lit up, and also in parts where water drips off stuff above it. But add the pretty splashes on the floor below and it gives the illusion that you're stood out in the rain, but with none of the visibility problems. Genius. Curiously, the map has a lot of fog in it, which goes against everything we learned in CSGO's lifetime. I can't find it now, I looked really hard for it, but during CSGO's earliest days, Valve made a really interesting blog post where they argued that fog could improve visibility by making characters stand out better against the backdrop. The argument they used back then was that a dark character model in a tunnel would stand out better against a fog-laden background than they would against a dark tunnel. And it appears they're going for the same thing again in this map, with the character models remaining very dark and defined no matter how far away nor how thick the fog around them might be. This isn't even to do with the high contrast graphics setting, though that still helps. It just seems like this game is designed to make the character models stand out against the mist around them. So well done Valve, maybe with the magic of Source 2 you finally managed your dream of a competitively viable foggy map. Here's a really small pathetic detail that no one else cares about but I do. Look at how this plant is lit up in front of the car's headlights. It looks like the light is passing straight through its leaves. The effect looks gorgeous. What the hell even is this liquid? It's like a load of oil is leaking into a pool of cough syrup. But who cares? It looks pretty, tastes nice like rubber, and I hope it's proof that Valve aren't trying to get rid of all the water in this game completely like they did in Overpass. So yeah, this new train map feels like a real lived-in place. There are a few suspect doors and windows here and there that don't seem to lead to anywhere that would make any sense, but then there are lots that do. Like this one here, leading to this walkway that goes across to the other building. It's like Valve has really bothered to flesh out this world in more detail than most players will ever notice nor appreciate as they're shooting people on this map. It's very hard to imagine how the Source 3 version could improve on this in any meaningful way. I just look at this and think, yeah, there's no point in me trying to map anymore because there's no way I can reach this standard that is now set by Valve in these official maps. I've only spotted a few problems. You can see the skybox behind something here that it should be in front of. I suspect this is actually an optimization feature gone wrong, because as you move towards it, it fixes itself. And also, these panels on the roof have some Z buffer fighting going on from ground level. Valve, please fix. And the train carriages have this cool effect to stop you from seeing through them. It's like a one-way texture that lets you see right underneath the train carriage, but then not out the other side. Which goes to show that Valve doesn't just care about the graphics, they also care about the gameplay, and in eradicating all those pixel gaps that used to plague older maps. There are some really nice Easter eggs too, namely around T-spawn. Check the information board out and you can see a series of train stops, which are the names of all the Counter-Strike maps that have already been added to CS2 and the ones that Valve are presumably still working on. And here is a lovely song about beans. There's a painting of the source version of the map here, and on the CCTV there are various 1.6 images it cycles between. And on these sheets in this office here you can see V Corp's plans for world domination. What could V possibly stand for? And then Aperture Corp, which is the company from Portal. I'm not going to read into this too much, I just see all these things as nice little Easter eggs. So yeah, my gushing about the wet graphics is now out of the way and I can pour all my efforts into looking at the gameplay changes. But first, gather round, it's Bean Friday, the day we hold so dear, for baked beans are our pride, our joy, our culinary cheer. We scoff at French cuisine with a fancy foie gras. German bratwurst can't compete, nor American barbecue's jazz. So here's to Bean Friday, a tradition so grand where beans reign supreme throughout the land. Let's raise a cheer and let the farting start, for on Bean Friday, it's all about the heart.